time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Buck Baits,
Better the Hunt,
Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings,
Easy Cut,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Sunrise Archery,
Total Peep,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Packer Max,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Scent Blocker,
Scent Lock,
Copper John,
and Stanislawski Release Aids.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin this last Sunday of August with Mr. Dan DeFall back from TAC.
Back from TAC, intact. Some arrows aren't intact, but we're intact.
We are intact. Yeah, we lost a few
But
along the way.
If you go up there thinking you're going to save every arrow that you possibly have, you are totally mistaken, because I don't know of anybody
Didn't lose an arrow.
that did not lose an arrow.
Yeah.
So even the guy that was ahead of us, who was lights out shooting, actually lost it. So,
Yeah, I think he lost a couple.
yeah, he lost one in the target. So, we're back. We're ready. Good to go.
All right, well, let's go through the supporters who support us.
Absolutely.
And give them some love.
You know what? There's nothing better than, you know what? I had venison for dinner.
Did you?
So you know what that means. When you have venison for dinner, there's nothing better than going out and having Rebel 6 rubs to put on it, which I did. Elk rubs. And if you go over there, use the promo code North Journal, you'll get 20% off your order at rebelsrubs.com. Right here where we're drinking it. That's right. If you want 10% off your order, use your promo code capital UNJ for 10% off your order over at Hunter's Blend Coffee. I saved the best for last.
Yep. I backed up on the wrong one. Hang on one second.
Oh,
Whoa,
boy.
whoa. I hit the wrong button. There we go.
If you want 20% off your order, go over to buckbaits.com. Use the promo code UpNorthJournal. You can get 20% off checkout over there. And that leads us to who we're interviewing tonight. Nothing better than having Buck Baits themselves, Julie and Tony Majewski.
What's going on, guys? And Gail?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. How about y'all?
We're doing well.
You guys are looking good.
Thank you.
You guys are looking svelte. Something must be up. Everybody in this last 6 to 8 months or whatever that we've been in with this COVID thing has been, all I'm hearing is
Putting on the COVID-19.
Putting on the COVID-19, but you guys are taking off the COVID-19.
We made a what do we call it, a resolution that we wouldn't catch up on the COVID-19, and we put our minds together and we started a diet routine just to get ready for hunting season.
That is awesome to hear. And you know what? It's one of those things that you guys are doing it together. Mike and I have always said without each other, we probably wouldn't have gotten as far as we have. If you would you like to tell us kind of how much you guys have lost together?
Together total? Well, over 50 pounds together.
Yeah,
Nice.
So at least around 75 to be exact.
Yeah.
There you go. That is awesome. And do you guys feel better?
I feel
Yes,
great.
actually,
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge that we both were wondering when we started the process was, will we feel hungry? And will we have cravings? And, how addicted we were to sugar and pop and all the other goodies that came with it. And to be frank, the first 2 days after the second day, I think we were, we got into a pattern. And I think that was the key, was being real structured and supporting each other. And we did well, like I said, at least 75 pounds.
I think it helped that we were both in it together, because cooking in the household for one who's on a diet and one's not, I don't think would have worked.
Yeah, no, it definitely would have worked. I think it would have been more challenging for somebody to start.
So you guys can tell us, so who's the one who stops who from going to the pantry?
Well, last night I said, "What are you doing in there?"
Yep. And you get those occasional itches, but you have to check each other once in a while. And it's been fun. As I say, it's been a journey, and we haven't killed each other, so that's a good part.
That's good.
That is awesome. I hope when you go see the doctor that you look at him or her and they look at you and they have that look like my doctor had, and he goes, "I'm seeing less of you," which is good.
Literally.
We actually, it's funny you bring that up, is I went to one of my doctors, and the nurse kept hitting the scale 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, well, what's wrong? And she goes, I think my paperwork's wrong. And I'm like, well, no, I don't think it is. And at that point, I really didn't know how much I had lost. And when I met with her at that time, it was around almost 27 pounds. From the last time I saw him a couple of weeks ago. So they were like, she was blown away.
fast.
It was pretty fast. And she's like, oh, well, that makes sense now. You had me worried that the scale wasn't calibrated. So it's all good.
Excellent. You know what? That is a great announcement. But we also have another announcement we talked about coming right into the show from ATA.
And breaking news here.
Breaking news. So if you'd like to go ahead and explain it to our listeners of what's going on.
And how it's going to affect them really out in the field this year.
Well, it's going to affect basically all the farmers and scent manufacturers, as well as the consumers and the buyers. Within the last couple of weeks, the ATA Board of Directors had a meeting. And obviously with COVID affecting everything from budgets to resources, even ATA was affected where they've had to reduce their staff and their ability to help promote their association within the hunting community, as well as doing their governance programs. And what came of it was unexpected, even for us beer manufacturers or scent manufacturers, was an announcement that they were looking to transition the ATA checkmark program. Now, Buckbaits has been a founding member and part of that deer protection program 5 years ago when they actually launched it. We were one of the first to have the ATA checkmark on our bottles and packaging. And what it means for the industry and consumers and buyers is that it's not, as of right now, going away. Come March, we're working on a transition program with the industry and the other farmers and manufacturers to figure out a way so that consumers can recognize products with the ATA checkmark as being chronic waste disease free, not having any prions or anything in them. We're going to try to continue the same governance programs that we currently do, but it is changing up who's going to actually manage the program, if it's going to be self-regulatory within the industry, within our farmers and our manufacturers, or are we going to go with another association that has the reach and resources and can give us more attention? And either way, the good news is that there will be a program in place so that consumers and buyers, as well as gaming officials, recognize that we're here to promote the industry. We're here to work with the gaming regulators, as well as try to prevent the chronic waste disease from sharing and being passed on.
Well, that's awesome news. And like you said, depending on whether you go with that other body to govern it or yourselves, you got all of you scent manufacturers have a huge vested interest in this and making sure that it works for the hunters and it's allowed across all 50 states. So there's a genuine interest there.
And by you guys taking it over, this is actually going to benefit not just the big guys, but also the small guys as well. So it's going to be everybody in between. It's not going to be a one-sided ordeal. It's going to be more fair than ever, right?
That's the intent, yes. And that's where I think, from the industry standpoint, even talking amongst the, we don't call them competitors, but industry professionals, I think we all agree that it's in our entire unified best interest is to work together and come up with solutions that are going to benefit the hunting community. And I think that's what the whole purpose of the announcement was. And we've got meetings and things that are already been put into play that Julie will be attending and helping to share a voice, especially here in Michigan, as well as the other states that currently allow natural urine-based attractant products. As other states are converting to more synthetic baits, I think they're going to start to realize that we have self-regulated and are providing a very confident and clean product that allow hunters to have a success in the field without spreading chronic waste disease.
It almost sounds like a co-op type of situation.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it's leaning towards, and that's kind of Julia and I we talked it over because it affects her business and her model. And originally, when we first heard the announcement, we were like, "What are you going to do?" Yeah. And that's not the case here.
And that's one of the other things that you kind of mentioned and alluded to here. You guys are competitors, but you're also friends. You guys all know each other because it's obvious when we're at the ATA because you guys aren't battling it out in the aisles. You're actually shaking hands, but
working together.
It's working together. So
right.
We are working together, and I think what I don't want to speak for the other scent manufacturers and farms, but typically, we understand consumers have choices. And we understand that consumers have success with other brands and products. And I always tell, whoever we speak with that, hey, if your product's working and, don't change. That's the whole goal of using one of these attractant products. We're here to complement. If you don't feel it's working for you, you want to try something different, by all means, feel free to try Buckbaits. But, we work together. There's a lot of synergy that's been going on, especially with COVID, with the wonderful bottle industry, and with everybody deciding to use the same size bottles that we use for their hand sanitizers. It's been funny, we get phone calls back and forth, and we're all sourcing and trying to share products and sprayers and stuff back and forth. It's been kind of cool during this time, but it's also letting the industry know that we're here to work together, and that's what this is all about.
That's awesome news. Well, one last question on this front: will customers see anything different with this new way of doing business, or with this new governing body, or is it going to be pretty much we're not going to notice a change on the consumer side?
There may be some changes on the consumer side from how the packaging and labeling may occur. They are working out how the ATA check mark will allow to be able to be transitioned to the new body, or I guess you license it out to that new body, from a royalty standpoint, or will there be a new signia on packaging and bottling under the new association or governing group of conglomerates, co-ops? That part is still in discussions and we haven't determined, but we do anticipate there will be communications through ATA and letters and everything that will alert and notify the consumers as to how this program is transitioning and how to continue to work with existing scent manufacturers, and if anything, it's going to open up, the conversation for other farms and stuff that aren't part of ATA to now participate. And that's another goal from the industry standpoint that they're trying to accomplish. Is there are a lot of farms and that didn't want to invest into the ATA deer protection program, so their urines weren't favorable by consumers. Well, now there's other programs like the RT Quick testing program that will also fall under the body. As to we actually were one of the first last year to start our RT Quick testing product for states that are requiring it now as part of their law and gaming official mandates. So
okay,
that answers your question.
Right. I guess what we need to tell everybody is stay tuned for more news to come.
There you go.
Okay, I tell you what, we're getting close to our first break here. Why don't we go ahead and we'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation about some things that you're releasing this year, and maybe a little bit about the story behind buck baits and how you guys got started. All right, we're going to step outside. We'll take our first break, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. Sitting here with Danny. We're talking with Tony and Julie from Buck Baits here in Michigan. Another great Michigan company that supports the Up-North Journal. So
yeah, we talked about it as we opened up the show. We're coming into September, and, and things are changing. And
summer's over. Summer's over.
I know, it's sad, isn't it? Goodbye, right. Summer.
Right.
But you know what? After that, it gets us into November, and that's hunting season. But actually, November 2nd is the 5-year anniversary of Buck Baits.
Really?
And I wonder if Julie ever thought 5 years ago that this was going to happen like this.
Well, Julie?
It went by fast. 5 years from where we first started with our first couple of products to our product line today. I couldn't even imagine it. 5 years in November. Yeah.
5 years goes by quick. I know that. Stepping back to 5 years ago, give us just a thumbnail. How did you guys get started? Where did Buck Baits come from? What led to what it is today?
So I guess, Julie and I had this concept of, I was into hunting. She was a graphic designer. And, overall, Julie wanted to come up with an idea of, okay, so how can we target the beginning hunter? And how can we help them? And Julie's, with her background and everything, she's like, well, why don't we start a company that just focuses on beginning hunters? And
that's, even the directions, even on the back of the packaging. It's a seasoned hunter could figure it out, and the beginning hunter could figure it out as well. It tells you directions. So, and even, it's really clear. Like, here's one of our bottles here, synthetic, and then our Estrus Max. is one of our nicer products here that people like to buy and purchase.
Yeah, one of the things Julie did that, kind of, I'm just pulled out the 2 bottles. I think it's kind of cool.
We're losing you here.
With the natural urines, and we're unlike other. Oh, you there?
Yep, we got you. Yep, you came back.
Unlike other natural urines, okay, we have all our things are color coded. So, like our urine-based products are all going to be the orange labeled products. Anything that's a scent or a synthetic is going to be a green labeled product. So it also allows the consumer to understand the product. Also, you'll notice that we also have very clear pictures as to what species is on or in the bottle. So in this case, it's a doe. In this case, it's a buck, or simulating a buck scent. So that's kind of something that she came up with on her own.
I'm more of a visual person, so I figured, okay, so what's going to be in this bottle, and what can we show a consumer? So.
And I think she did a lot of with me trips to Cabela's and Bass Pro and all the other independent hunting retailers. I think we spent a good 6 months looking at packaging and
what we liked, what we didn't like about it,
and,
what was vague.
And everything came to the the same consensus was are we going to be that company that provides smoke and mirrors and can do all this fancy packaging, or are we going to simplify it for the beginning hunter? I guess the 3 qualities that we look for in our packaging is 1, our products pure and fresh. Julian and her team bottles the products daily. 2, you're getting best in class products. So, we can compete against any other brand that's out there, and you can guarantee it's fresh because she bottles it daily fresh for the consumer. And then the third package, third price point is, like I mentioned, price point. We did not want to give consumers, you're going out to buy your sporting goods, and Julie knows that when I first got into hunting, I had a very decent income, and I spent $1 gazillion on sporting goods. And not every consumer can afford thousands of dollars worth of sporting goods, and you expect what you're paying for. And especially at a $15 to $30 bottle of urine, you throw it out into the field, you're expecting those bucks to show up.
Right.
And that's kind of how we came to be with buck baits.
And that's one of the things you talk about, your packaging. I think the best thing to know is that you've created something on the packaging itself that you could either be a veteran hunter or a new hunter that doesn't have necessarily that person to help them out, but they can actually read the back of your product and figure it out. And that's one of the things. It's not one of those things that here's a bottle of something. Now what do I do with it?
What do I do with it? How do I use it?
And that's really important especially we find that the beginning hunters sometimes will ask questions, sometimes don't ask questions, sometimes they're afraid to ask questions. So if you can help them out without, being that embarrassing moment to ask, it's right there on the back of the packaging for it. Now those you have, what do you have because of the synthetic, and you've got the real, you've also got cover scents as well, don't you?
We do. So we have 2 types of cover scents. You have a masking cover scent, which are your pine, your cedar, and your earth. And then you also have your food cover scent. Now in Michigan, a lot of people think, cover scents, what is it used for? And typically, obviously, you would use it to cover your odor and your perspiration as you're in the field throughout hunting. With the food cover scents, we actually want to hone in and educate the consumer that you can actually use them as attractants. So in this case, this is an example of our corn cover scent. Our products smell naturally. They also radiate a odor that can go out for a long distance and bring in your wild game. And with the corn, I can have fawn and bucks, and we've got it on camera, in pictures and videos within literally finger length distance in our testing as well as our real hunts, just from using one of our cover scents. Our up north field pro staff Jennifer Drake from Drake's Guide Service. Say hi, Jennifer. She does professional elk guide hunting, and she loves our acorn scent. She can bring in a camera crew along with 2 other hunters along with herself into a blind and not get winded. And she uses that. That is her go-to for her elk hunts when she has elk hunt season. So I think that's kind of what helps sets us apart. is our cover scents. I think they're very natural smelling, but they are also used. You don't have to use natural urines. You can also use them as attractants to bring in wild game.
Absolutely, and Mike's got a video of it last year that he put some out. And my daughter will attest that the corn one does work.
Makes me hungry.
Well,
it does.
It smells like good.
She sprayed it on the blind, and not only did the deer come closer, but even the bees decided to show up and investigate, which excited her beyond belief in a blind. Trust me.
Yeah.
I was getting all the text in the world.
Well, I remember back when we were doing the video, actually we were using some mock scrape. And I was completely blown away because we were doing this in a part of the season where we typically don't see activity in scrapes. In that video, Tony, I mean, it just blew my mind at the activity we got on those scrapes.
Right. Yeah, no, it the products work, and the key is obviously the freshness and how you bottle and package. Julie, back to packaging, I think this is actually a really good concept. Being female, she came up with this brilliant idea going to the different hair salons, researching other consumer packaging, was how do you, a lot of the natural urines that were on the market at the time when we did our research were pour overs. And, a lot of waste was going on. I'd empty a bottle out or I'd have a little bottle left and didn't know what to do with it, and the product would go stale. So she actually did some research, and we actually use as one of our unique concepts to our product a diffuser sprayer in our packaging, which allows for the product to be itemized or anodized, how do you say that, I think, and push out further, and it goes longer in the wind. But what's nice about it, doesn't allow air back into the bottle.
You don't get it all over your hands.
That's one thing I did find, that it doesn't get all over your hands. When you spray it, it is atomized, and it goes where you want it to go, not where you don't want it to go, which is all over you.
Right. There's nothing worse than having residue of some estrus smell on your fingers, while you're out hunting.
Right. Exactly. So
we also get the common question, which will come up probably even in today's show, is how long does your natural urines last? And the industry standard answer is 1 year from its shelf life. Now, a lot of the industry, they will freeze their urines. They will bottle them in January. They'll ship them in July, September. One of the things that we tested with our urines, and we'll give the same answer 1 year, but I have, and Julie's, even the pro staff team has tried a product that's been in the bottle for 2, 3, even 4 years and had very similar effects as well.
That's great to know.
The way we package, original packaging, yes. As long as you don't open the cap, it'll stay fresh.
Exactly. And we got a question from Tammy that's on the live stream, and she's asking, do you find that a couple of scents work better than one or the other, or is that not the case? I'm going to guess, this is off the top of my head, imagine that, but it's going to be almost like hunter dependent, that you're getting feedback that, hey, this really, really worked for me, or what are you hearing?
So I think I get that question a lot as well. I think the answer to that question is we simulate using a couple different scents in the field. So I like to use a buck with tarsal as well as a doe and estrus together. The reason for that is, they're herd animal, and they like to see packs or find other packs for safety and curiosity purposes. So we typically like to see, the combinations where and it is seasonal depending on what time of your hunting season is. But, I typically use a buck or a doe and heat together with our scent wicks and stuff like that in the field to draw in and harvest our game. Hopefully that answers.
And that's the other aspect. We haven't even touched that yet, and we're going to get there. But not only do you have the scents, but you've got the other side, a little bit of stuff where you've got the scent wicks, you've got some reflective stakes, you've got the backpack, and other stuff that we want to touch on. But yeah, as far as the scents goes, like you said about the deer herd, plus they're also inquisitive. That's always the good one. So
absolutely,
you use that acorn or you use that corn, they're gonna check it out.
Yeah,
which is
nice. That's a great question, Tammy.
I like to try to use something that's not readily available in the area, already. So I'm always trying to throw something a little different just to pique that curiosity and draw them in. It's like, okay, that smells good. What is that? Is that something I want to go check out? And then they'll come and investigate. If I'm hunting up in an oak stand of trees, I'm probably not going to use acorn. I'm probably going to use something like the corn, or I think if I remember right, you got persimmon as well, which we don't have persimmon here in Michigan. And that one's one. There you go, right here. There's a bottle of persimmon. So, just to pique that curiosity, try a little something different that's maybe not readily available in the area you're hunting.
I agree. Yeah, we have cedar now, which is another new cover that we just brought out this year at ATA. The persimmon was last year's introduction, which, man, we do have a lot of Ohio hunters that have been using the persimmon with very, very great success.
That's good.
And
it smells good when you bottle it too.
It's a great odor. Yes. The other thing, we get often is, synthetic versus natural, which one to use? I mean, that's another common hunting question that we often get. Hey, our state allows us to use natural. Should we use natural or should we use the synthetic? We always tell everybody when you use natural, that's always the best because it is the natural environment and what they're used to. We've done a really good job over 5 years. We've got a 5-year track record. One of our pro staffers in Virginia exclusively uses our synthetic scents. Our synthetics do not smell of soap. It does not have some sort of fancy smell to it. It is close as we could get to natural smelling urine, but it also draws in the animals as they're intended in the natural environment. So it's all a preference thing, but when in doubt, go with natural always.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here close on our second break, so for those of you on the podcast, we're going to step outside real quick, and we're going to be right back after this. And Danny, where are we going in the next segment?
We're going to talk about the other side, other than nonsense and...
Nonsense?
Nonsense.
That means he's got to leave. All right, we're going to step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show.
We got a question. Are your scents available only in liquid, or do you have wafers available?
Only in liquid at this time.
Okay, so there you go, Andy. Only liquids at this time. So, but that's not the only thing you guys. What else you got out there? I know you got some steaks and some, not meat steaks, but yardage steaks and stuff. What you can use for tracking and everything. And what else do you got on that line of other than the liquid scents?
So we have a full game call line. Again, entry-level game call price point, but high-end game calls, all manufactured here in Michigan. We have grunts and bleats and cow bites. They're very effective, very quality stuff at affordable price points. We also have our own unique field bag in the back here. What's unique about our field bag is you can actually hold up to a 50-pound bag of corn in your field bag. We showed actually the team over at Up North Journal. They actually all got a couple of our bags, and we've done very well with it. What's also nice about it is instead of getting your normal hunting field bag dirtied up with your bait, your scents, your trail cams, and all of the pictures, now you can have a utility bag that you can carry everything in and out until you're ready for your hunts. And it's really nice. Got a nice holster, backpack style closure on it. It's really nice bag. We also are getting into a mineral feed product. Now in Michigan, in the Lower Peninsula, you can't use any type of baiting products, but in the Upper Peninsula you can. We field tested this for the last 5 years. We brought it out this year at ATA. What's unique about our product is very low in sodium, high in potassium. It's got selenium in it. It's a very well-balanced mix. Some of the photos that you see are actually real photos from usage of the animal feed.
Our customers.
Our customers, great feedback on it. It comes in a 6-pound package, and we ship all over the United States. So that's a new product for us. You mentioned the tracker steaks. That was a new feature this year for ATA. It comes 12 to a package. People were like, well, why are you coming up with this? There was 2 reasons. One, when we were practicing with our children, we were trying to show them what 50 yards was. So I was taking my arrows and sticking them out 50 yards so that they can get a concept of sight lines. And I'm also one of those that can't figure out between 50 and 60 yards. So I started using my own markers in the field. So we decided to come out with a reflective tape. This actually has crushed glass in it, so it's true light. So in the middle of the night, you can actually see these markers in the field, and you can mark off, how far you need to be and zero in on your wild game. But the real purpose behind these was for after the hunt. So let's say you do harvest an animal and that animal decides to shoot into the woods. Now it gives you an opportunity to follow the blood trail and mark your spot so you can find out where that animal lined up and went. So that's really how these came to be. They're very unique products. With COVID-19, just like everybody else, we evolved. And we came up with I don't know if you can see that, but our deer camp hand sanitizer.
Right.
Which I take everywhere with me right now. And it was funny because I was at an Italian deli and they had bought some and they had them on the counter near the cash register. And one of my sons said, "Mom, hey, that's my hand sanitizer. It's deer camp." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
Nice.
So it was nice to see it. Yeah, different places. So
and what's nice about the hand sanitizer, when you think about it, is how many people have been in the woods field dressing, and then what do they do afterwards?
Absolutely.
Now we have a product. We are Julie's. The company's FDA registered. The product is an FDA compliant 80%. Hand sanitizer, which is a higher percentage. It doesn't leave your hands dry, and it's got a really nice.
At least you can sanitize while you're hunting as well, too.
And you can use it for your masks and so forth. So we've done it very well with that product, and like I said, it was kind of another way for us to evolve after 5 years and come up with ways to help our community out. We donated a lot of the product to some firefighters and local policemen and hospital workers that needed it for COVID. I think she's proud of that product.
Yeah, yes.
Well, I think
it was on our radar last year, but definitely on our radar this year. So
I think you mentioned evolving. With COVID hitting, that makes the difference. I think right now for companies that are going to make it and the ones that are not going to make it, and you guys have actually made strides in making sure that that you're going to last beyond this.
Right.
Well, she's tried. Like I said, we try, and
new ideas.
It's not us. It's our pro staffers. Yeah. It's our partnerships with people like yourself, Danny and Mike, and Up North Journal. It's the consumers in the market. We're here for you. We're not here to. We want to make sure you're successful. We want to make sure that we're part of the team. This is, hunting's got to be fun, and as you can see, we're very energized people, and we want everybody to have a good experience when they try our products as well as get involved with our company. So thank you guys for what you do, as well as educating the community on hunting and outdoor activities, and that's all. That's what it's about.
And one of the things Mike and I talked about, this is when we first met, was we always believed in trying the product first before we
Absolutely.
went any further, and we were able to do that with your product, and we found out we loved your product. So it's just one of those things. We support you, you support us, and we work together.
Yeah. And we thank you.
So. And that's one of the things. You guys, like you said, with the hand sanitizer, you're evolving. You're doing this stuff. And speaking of that, not only do you have the website, not only can you go order online, but after 5 years, you're actually going to kind of venture out even further, and you're going to end up opening a retail location, aren't you?
Yes, it's in the works. We're so excited.
Yep.
And
5 years.
Is it going to? What are we looking at? Are we looking at a fall time frame? We're looking at Christmas. When? And it's going to be in what area?
We're right now. It's going to be in Macomb County. Is where Julie's been looking. The anticipation is hopefully by October 1st, a location will be selected as well as opened. What's I guess the cool part about it is it will be hunting themed. If anybody
shocker, right?
Well,
shocker, yeah.
We felt that in the Macomb County area there was a other than going to Cabela's or Gander Mountain now closed, there was very limited opportunity for the outdoorsman to go find a good quality hunting. Now don't get me wrong, there are some terrific archery stores in the area that I highly recommend everybody go to. We're not here to even open up a store to compete against them. We're here to complement them. The goal here is to open up a fun theme store where people can get their wild game jerky and venison and meats.
A lot of Michigan businesses.
A lot of Michigan-based businesses, but also partnerships with other small businesses and hunting products that we can put everything into a location that is, fun and themed, but working with local taxidermists and things like that.
And I think you kind of, the way you said it was perfect. You're a theme store, and you're partnering up, whether it be a coffee product, whether it be a jerky product, whether it be a rub product. You've partnered up with a whole bunch of people. You're bringing it all together into a hunting themed store, and you're putting it in Macomb County. And like you said, there's not that many those type of stores anymore.
Right. And that's, again, back to Julie's knack of market research and evolving and trying to look at what's next. For 5 years, she's, had to think. As you can tell, she's very, quiet person. So, kind of speaking for her, I apologize. But she's been very excited about her growth. And, this was her way of kind of evolving and giving back again to the community. And
we're excited. Our family's excited about it. So new adventures ahead this year for sure.
And it's one of those things. You're making this a family-oriented business. You've got 2 twin sons that help you guys out in the business, doing whatever they can to help you guys. And the 4 of you working together have created this Julie leading the way to corral all you boys together to work for her and get it moving. And it's one of those things. Now they're getting old enough. Now that they're in the family business, you're going to be looking at taking them out family hunting.
That's right. And this year we're doing the youth hunt. So on, September 12th, 13th?
Yeah, 12th or 13th, yep.
Right, and it's coming up soon. So
that's what we're excited about is, again, trying to educate the youth. And, this is our first opportunity because it's been around. What's nice about it, they've been around the products for 5 years from the time they were, how old, 2, 3?
Yeah.
And now they're 7 going on 8. And, they keep asking, can we go deer hunting? Can we go deer hunting? And Julie says, well, why not? This is a great opportunity for, have, daddy time and mommy time, and let's teach them everything we know and get them into the field. So we're planning to go.
And I want to hand it to both you. I know, Tony, you're the kind of the hunter one, and Julie not necessarily, but you're also a very good supporter of the family to make sure that the boys understand that mommy supports as well, and vice versa if it was the other way around. But just to show we're doing this as a family, and we're going to do it all together. You guys are going to be out there September 12th for the youth hunt. You going up north to the UP property?
We are, yes.
Okay, so you're going to be up there. You're probably going to have really good fall colors. It's going to be awesome. And
might even have some snow.
No, let's not go there.
Yeah, we're kidding, right? Hey, don't jinx us.
Yeah.
So are they going to be both hunting at the same time, or is one going to have to go first? And have you figured that all out? Or
so thanks to Drake's Guide Service, and I want to put a plug out to her because she's got 2 youth hunters herself. One of the biggest concerns was having twin boys and, not trying to alienate the time for each one during a hunt. And she came up with kind of a really good process where you take them both out together and you give them real expectations as to what is going to go on. And then each one encourages the other one for hunting. And so we are planning on taking them out. We have a ground blind that Julie and the kids will all be sitting in, obviously using our products. We actually, Julie, thanks to her, went online and, between our products and getting their hunting apparel all together, they're going to be outfitted and ready to go for the youth hunting. So we're quite excited. We're going to obviously give them a nice lineup of different scents to use, explain the purpose, show them how to bait properly, and then even walk them through the whole process of actually harvesting a deer, hopefully.
That's awesome.
We're excited. They keep saying, tomorrow we're going to go hunting. No, it's not tomorrow yet. A little bit to go, but yeah, they're excited.
Well, it's great that you can take the next generation. You can educate them, not only in the product, but, in the industry, as well as getting out and hunting it. Danny and I, we were at the TAC shoot this weekend, and Danny remembers we were walking behind this father and son. The little guy couldn't have been probably, 6, 7, 8 years old. Carrying his bow and his arrows.
If he was 7, I'd be surprised.
And it was. I told him, I said, man, that's awesome that you're getting your kid involved in the outdoors. And I think that's the biggest thing that we lack in the United States today is teaching our kids about the outdoors and getting them involved in it and passing that tradition and the love of the outdoors on. So hats off to you guys for doing that.
Well, thanks to you guys. We actually last year, I believe you had some pictures that we shared. We took them up to a crossbow or an archery range. And we were able to use the PSC crossbow and both of them got an experience what a crossbow felt like, as well as we got to see who had the sharper eye. And both of them actually did extremely well. So I think that was one of the opportunities, to our first exposure for them, to see how they would react and understand the importance of proper handling and safety of a crossbow, let alone a firearm, and getting them used to it now versus years from now, where I didn't have any opportunity like that when I was young.
Well, that's great, and obviously safety is a big part of that as well. So hats off to you guys for teaching them and bringing them up the right way. And I can't wait to see pictures and smiles on their faces of what they get. So hopefully they're successful in the field. But, we always know that you don't get an animal every single time out, but it's about that experience. And I know if you guys are going with Jennifer Drake, that she's going to provide a great experience.
You guys going to be able to shoot does?
For everyone I know, yes. Doe and buck up in the UP for the youth.
Good.
Not for the adults.
Okay. Danny's a little upset.
Let's not talk about it. Move on.
Well, I tell you what.
I tell you what. Before we go to break, if we want to find these scents, if we want to find the other products, where can we go to find it?
So we're listed on Amazon, Etsy. We have our own website.
What's the website address?
www.buckbaits.com. Where else?
Walmart.
And
then obviously independent dealers across the country.
Right.
There you go.
So we really are pushing, and probably the best price point will be through the independent dealers across the country. We do our distribution through Kinsey, and they are very great family to work with, and they're very strong supporters of that independent archery.
That's great news. So make sure you guys get over to the website, get to the independent dealers, get over there and check it out. And remember, if you're on the website, use that Up North Journal promo code to save yourself a little bit of cash.
That's right. Use the promo code when you're over there, because we're going to go to break, and it's going to be fun time, because with our last segment, we get to have fun with our interviewees.
All right, we're going to step outside, take our last break. We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Danny's favorite part of the show.
It's our favorite part of the show.
It is our favorite part of the show.
Kind of just
cut loose a little bit.
Let our interviewees just relax a little bit. Just breathe a sigh of release. We made it through 3/4 of the show.
That's right.
And then we still got to throw some questions at them.
That's right. But these are fun ones.
These are fun ones. And she's already she's already giggling over there. But we're gonna, it's like one of the first questions we know. The place you have the test facility, where all this stuff gets tested and everything up in the UP. You got to drive there. So when you guys hop in the truck, you got the family in the truck, and whoever's driving or whoever's in charge of the radio. What are we listening to on the way up?
It might be the kids even.
Not yet.
In charge of the radio?
Well, so what are we listening to on the way up?
As far as music or genre, I don't know.
Whatever you want to pick, what are we listening to?
So from the kids' standpoint, we typically are listening to a movie that they want to hear on their little iPads behind their seats.
Okay.
So it's usually a Disney movie.
Yeah.
We're up front typically listening to something country. So, usually Julie's the one that controls the radio, and she's the boss.
Next, let's go.
She likes that old skip command.
That's right. Let's move on to the next one.
Right, exactly. And while your guys are driving up there and you're sitting there and you're having a blast, rocking to whatever country tunes or rocking to whatever kids' adventure show they're listening to, you got to have a snack. What kind of snack are you guys grabbing for that you got on the console?
Yeah, we have beef jerky.
Yeah,
nice.
So we have a Polish hunter sausage that we call kabanusi.
Yeah,
so it's an annual tradition. Before we go up north, we'll go to the local Polish market and we'll pick up our kabanusi sticks, typically veal beef hunter sticks, and then we'll bring them up north, and that's what we're usually having around the bonfire.
Yeah,
with a nice beverage.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Speaking of food in the car, let's say Danny and I, we happen to stop by down where you guys are at, and you say, you know what, guys, we're going to fix some dinner. We're going to fix some wild game for you. What would you fix for Danny and I, and why? And how would you fix it?
Oh, wow. I think Julie's got the perfect answer for this.
There's one that we like at Thanksgiving.
I would do the Thanksgiving.
We have venison stuffing every year at Thanksgiving. It is to die for.
It could be a meal in its own.
I know, right?
Like,
I think we've done that.
We've had a couple times for family. Yeah. So basically,
there's apple in it.
There's apple, bacon, obviously different styles of venison, either ground and or chopped up. There's an onion, there's different seasonings, and then obviously your breaded stuffing. When we mix that all together, we add, what do they call it, chicken broth to it.
We tried the beef broth,
but the chicken's the best. And then a little bit of the bacon grease in there just to give it a little extra flavor in it. And heat it up to obviously proper temperature. And
it's all dietetic.
Very, very dietetic.
Right.
I was gonna say you just blew my carb count like you wouldn't. Well, everything actually, the bacon, the venison, the apple isn't bad. If you got breading in there, that'll kill us. But
bacon goes.
The bacon grease just topped it off. I'm not gonna lie, the bacon grease was there.
Bacon, anything in bacon is good.
I know, right?
Right. Venison stuffing. I've not heard of that.
Sign me up.
Right.
We'll be over for
leftovers. We put it either in a turkey or we bake it separate. But when you bake it in the turkey, oh my gosh, it is to die for.
Nice.
Makes the turkey taste better too.
All right.
So you've gotten Mike and I got into full belly. We go out to the campfire. We sit around. We look around at each other. We look at you guys, and we want to know from one of you or both of you. Tell us a favorite story that you're going to tell Mike and I, be it hunting related, fishing related, outdoor related, that you would tell us to woo us over the campfire.
So I think she just mentioned
the first deer.
So my first,
on our
yeah.
Well, it wasn't on our property.
No, it wasn't on our property. Yeah. So I think that's probably the best hunting story. So the truth about my hunting abilities, I started several years ago, probably about 10 years ago, hunting the first time. Like I mentioned earlier, my father wasn't a hunter nor had the ability to show me how to hunt because he never learned. And so I was able to get my sister married into a family where the father-in-law was a hunter, and I always expressed interest in hunting and said, hey, if you ever go to your deer camp, would you invite me? At the time, I had played competitive racquetball, and about 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to me going to deer camp was a racquetball tournament where I actually ruptured my Achilles tendon and had surgery, and they kept telling me, hey, you're never going to deer camp. You can't walk on it. And I says, nope, I'm determined to go to deer camp. I've always wanted to do it. So I went to deer camp, and it was up in Cedar River, Michigan. And these group of guys drive up in a Federal Express truck all the way up there. And a great group of guys, very awesome hunting experience. And they set me up on the Cedar River in state property overlooking the state river. And as I was a first-time hunter, I had no idea how deer reacted, moved, if they jumped, what they did. And I'm sitting there with my firearm, and I'm looking around, and all of a sudden it was like, first thing right after light, and this deer showed up, and it was about a 7 or 8 pointer, and it just went from one end and just kept going on the other end. And I'm going, man, I forgot to pick up my firearm and move it and shoot it. So around noon, I have to go back to deer camp, and they're telling me, hey, it'll never come back. We're going to go into your spot. And I'm like, no, I guarantee it's coming back. And I had to fight them for a while. And make a long story short, that night, I sat in the same blind spot location. I'm looking, and just as it was getting dark, here comes that same 7 point showing up, and it's coming along the riverbank. And I'm in the back of my head going, I can't tell these guys, I'm not going to shoot it. I'm going to miss it. So I got all ready. I aimed, and, I squeezed the trigger, and all of a sudden I realized that deer's right on the river. I think I'm going to blow him in the river. And this deer literally went in the river.
No, he went up, you said?
Yeah, he went up and down. And I'm going, these guys aren't going to believe this. I missed out on 2 deers on opening day. So I took a picture of it in the river just to prove that it was in the river. And my ankle was screaming from surgery. So I says, well, what better? I had to ice it. So I says, well, I'm going to have to go jump in the river. So I went and jumped in the river and brought this deer back to the shore. And by the time I got to the shore, one of the hunting friends had actually come down the street realizing I had harvested an animal and helped me get it out. It took me 3 hours and about 80 cars coming the one-way road down the street to field dress it because there's 80 different opinions. But at the end of the day, I was one of five harvested deers in Cedar River area.
You worked for it.
I had to work for it.
Well, you worked for it, but yet you took the icy water and remembered to think about your ankle and ice that down while you were in it, right?
That was the key, but that's what hooked me was that experience, and I, for a first experience, not knowing what to expect, missing out in the morning, and then finally, getting your harvest in the evening, and the whole, getting it up a hill with, ropes and stuff was pretty cool. And then having the whole community come and tell you how to field dress this deer was just incredible.
That's a part I would love to have seen. Everybody try and tell you how to do that.
And then you meet up at the local bar, and everybody's there buying your drinks with the same 80 people that were at the...
Right, exactly. Andy Eberhardt says Cedar River is where his deer camp is. It's a great area. So,
awesome.
It's a great area.
I wonder if Andy was one of those people.
He might have been one of the guys giving advice.
Right, exactly. So, but that's awesome. You're the first time, and like you said, you just started hunting a few years back, so your memories are not as far back as somebody might be, but it's a memory, and now you're going to be creating more memories, taking your kids out, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, those mean a lot. Danny and I both have been able to share outdoor experiences with our kids, and I tell you what, when they take game for the first time, it's going to bring a tear to your eye, man. It's you guys cherish those moments.
Oh, I mean, it's already been emotional going and picking out their hunting clothes and stuff. I mean, it's been cool. And like just the other night, Julie had them trying on their pants.
They're so excited too to do it.
Well,
sure, we'll try it out.
That's one of the things I think is very important when you bring up youngsters, is keeping the enthusiasm about what's about to happen going. And it is like you said, just trying on the pants, and they're like, yes.
Oh, hey, we've got a question here from Nancy wanting to know, can you share the recipe for the venison?
Yes, I can.
The venison
I can send it on over.
Okay.
Send it on over, and we'll post it. And because my brother asked the same question.
Okay.
Everybody's wanting to know this recipe. You know, we should come up with a UNJ recipe.
Cookbook? Yeah, we could do that.
And then we should donate the proceeds to something.
There we go.
And on that note, Buck Baits is a 5-year sponsor of the Michigan Pier Hunt. And so Julie's been a very strong advocate for conservation in the community. We actually, our property is part of the Deer Protection Conservation Program as well. So, anybody that has any opportunity to donate to local conservations, we also are involved with hunters that are veterans as well as disabled, and then also youth hunting. So we're big advocates for that, and we try to donate a part of our proceeds back to those different organizations that promote those things. So I just want to make that mention as well.
That is awesome. Julie, I got a question for you. Being the person running the company here for an outdoor company, supporting your family in the hunting side of things. For you, you're not a hunter, but yet still you support that family. What is that dynamic like, being that person that doesn't participate in the hunt specifically? I think it's very unique that there's not many ladies out there that support that don't believe in it like you guys do.
Right, it's not that hard. I mean, I've always been an outdoor person with boating. I mean, we have our boating in the summertime, our fishing and hiking. So there's always been that outdoor part of it in our family, and camping too. So I think that this just a piece of the pie. I mean, it wasn't that hard for me to understand why it would be important to somebody else. And I think if you can open that door and that opportunity and just maybe go to that target practice or be outdoors and take the same vacation and just a little bit by a little bit, maybe you'll understand it a little bit better. I enjoy it. I enjoy the excitement on my husband's face, my kid's face. And we try to come up with recipes like the venison recipe that we shared today. So yeah, I mean, I didn't find it that hard as being a non-hunter in the family. So, but yeah.
She's actually a pretty good fisher woman.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty lucky.
We were out with her last weekend in the middle of that bass tournament that was going on.
Which we didn't have any clue.
Yeah, we had no clue that we realized it after camera crews went by us. But she actually harvests pretty big bass. Yeah. She's a pretty good bass fisher person. So yeah. And she loves wild game. Like I said, I'll bring whatever wild game home from bear to elk, and she'll know how to cook it up.
Sometimes you'll get sick of it and be like, well, why can't we have the venison? Well, I don't. Wait, why can't we have it? So I'll cook it up, and the kids love it too. So they feed their family. Yeah,
that's right. It feeds the family, and the kids, especially when the kids love it, and then you can just feed it to them, and they have no preconceived notions that it's anything different than what they saw at the local meat market that you just pulled off the shelf. But it's awesome that you do that and you support that, and getting out fishing. And it must have been fun watching those camera crews go by, because they were zipping all around the lake last week.
Well, and we couldn't go and watch the weigh-ins. I mean, because of the COVID situation, we weren't allowed down there to watch all that.
Right.
So you guys had a very unique perspective being out on the water watching all that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we were right on the channel, chipping lane, and we had the Cabela's team right in front of us. And the funny part is that Julie caught this monster catfish, and they're looking at us like,
we're like,
yeah, we're
Well, that's the thing, right? They're out there filming these professional anglers going after these smallmouth bass, trying to put weight. And here this boat that's just kind of right next to them pulling up these fish, and it's like, yeah, I get it. And they were out. They were out. The shipping channel was kind of the place to be to get the bigger ones.
Yeah, it was a little deeper there. So
yeah, we were fishing in around 40 feet of water when she caught her couple fish.
Yeah, a couple deeper holes, and
she brought in a couple smallmouth, but not big enough to keep.
No, the kids want to keep it. We're like, no, it needs time to grow.
Right, exactly.
Well, I think it's so important, like what you said. You got some people who like to fish on one part of the family, other people like to hunt, and being able to share all that together as a family, the kids get a well-rounded outdoor experience, whether it be camping, it could be hiking, kayaking, canoeing, whatever. Yeah,
Mike, we just one other experience we had this year, which was I highly encourage everybody to try this. Up in the UP, they have actually dog sled teams. And we actually got an opportunity to take the kids on a dog sledding this year.
That
was cool.
Absolutely.
And understanding what the all-time hunters used to do, and how much work it is to bring a dog into camp and park
and
a
they're
dog.
very gentle dogs. They're so gentle with the kids.
Oh,
so,
and that's a whole different dynamic, because those dogs are literally their kids, and they take better care, better veterinarian. That's
the work is taking care of those dogs. Those dogs are their lives. I mean, it could cost them their life, if they're out in the outback somewhere where they're in deep. So those dogs mean everything to them.
We were sledding on 6 feet of snow when we went up there, which was incredible. And these dogs,
big tunnel.
They were telling us that
they get so excited too.
The colder the weather is, the stronger and the faster the dogs go, because they're used to that cold weather. And so, if anybody gets a chance, to shout out to Nature's Kennel, they did a phenomenal job. Sharing a family experience, especially with the young boys. So
that's cool.
There you go.
Those dogs are born to run.
All right. You know what? I think we've had enough of we took an hour of their time, and I think that's enough for the night.
Yeah. We just need that recipe as soon as you get it.
Yeah, we're gonna.
They're loading it up here. They want it.
Yeah, they're like, I'm getting it from everywhere. But yeah, we'll get that recipe. We'll put it out there, and everybody's saying a recipe book is a good idea. So stay tuned on that. We'll put our heads together, see what we can come up.
Well, I tell you what. Thank you for the time you spent with us tonight. Remember, everybody, go over to thebuckbaits.com. Use that UNJ or the Up North Journal
promo code when you check out over at buckbaits.com.
Save yourself a little bit of money, and look for it in your independent dealers as well. And if you're on Amazon.com, go over there and look at it over there as well. So support them, because they support us, and we appreciate it. So thanks again, guys. And
thank you. Bye.
All right, hang on real quick, and we'll talk to you here after the show. But for those of you on the podcast right now that are listening, go over to our social media page. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe or a follow, and over on Apple iTunes, make sure you give us a review over there. We appreciate that. That helps us as well. So that'll do it for us this week. Y'all take care. We'll be back again. Actually, next week, no, we're not going to be back next week.
Next week's holiday weekend.
Holiday weekend. Danny and I are taking off. We're both going to be up north at our prospective deer camps, getting ready for the hunting season to come. So y'all take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery,
Buck Bait,
Better the Hunt,
Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings,
Easy Cut,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Sunrise Archery,
Total Heat,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Packer Max,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Scent Blocker,
Scent Lock,
Copper John,
and Stanislawski Release Aids.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.